The Earth is home to roughly 7 billion people with diverse cultures and languages. But despite our differences, we are all linked by business. We all eat, shop, and dream of owning something. And most of us work. All businesses must have supervisors to function. Supervisors oversee the work of others to accomplish the objectives of the business. They represent both management to the workers and the workers to management. Welcome to SuperVision. I'm Gemmy Allen, and I'll be your guide through this SuperVision class. Welcome to SuperVision, Lesson 12, Helping by Keeping a Winning Attitude. A coach helps an athlete to excel by establishing a helping relationship. Athletes can express their thoughts and feelings in such a way as to clarify their own situation, come to terms with some new experience, see their difficulty more objectively, and so face their problem with less anxiety and tension. In this way, athletes shut out distractions, manage their emotions, and control their energy levels. Supervisors use counseling to help employees achieve objectives. An employee's problem performance is often related to non-job factors. Yet personal problems generally get worse, not better, without professional help. The supervisor is in the best position to spot and handle problems when they arise. The use of counseling provides relief for the troubled employee. As a counselor, the supervisor is a helper, discusses the employee's personal problems that are affecting his or her job performance, aiming to resolve them. The following scenario may seem old, but the information is still relevant today. Use it to model your own philosophy of management.
2-year nurses with no clinical experience? What in the heck is happening to the profession?
I'm sure it must seem that the profession is deteriorating. What do you think the hospital should do about the nursing shortage?
I don't know. I'm not an administrator.
And if you were, what would you do to make sure that top nurses like Dee don't get disgusted and switch professions?
I see what you mean. And I realize there's no simple solution. But at the same time, can't we at least get trainees who help rather than get in the way?
Sounds like you see them as a burden.
I do. I have enough to do without holding their hands.
And you don't see helping the trainees as a part of your job?
I realize it's in my job description. But at the same time, do we ever get any thanks for it? Well, look at Marcy and how great she is with those kids. And has she ever gotten a raise or a word of thanks?
You feel like you're not being appreciated for the training aspect?
Yes. And that also goes for the job as a whole. We're handling more patients now with less staff than a year ago.
So you're given a greater workload and not recognized for it.
Exactly.
What do you want from me, Dee?
I haven't thought about that specifically. I know that you don't control the clinical training programs or decide on the workloads or rewards.
What do I decide on that might help you here?
I don't know. I guess just more discussions like this and knowing where we stand on matters like this.
Good. For my part, I want to talk to our clinical education director about the students' level of preparation. Perhaps she can take it up with the clinical program directors in the schools and at least make them aware of the problem we have with the student trainees.
Thank you. That would be a great help.
Hi, Harry. How's it going?
Oh, not bad.
How's Martha?
Oh, they're giving her some treatments. They may have to operate. We'll see how the treatments go.
Well, I sure hope they go well. You know, we're ready to complete the Clarkston run tomorrow. Have the cable we've been waiting on.
Well, I thought that'd be about ready now, but I can't say that I will. I mean, you see how far I am behind on this Carson project. Bubba's been after me about that.
Well, I wasn't aware of any more problems on the Carson project since Bubba got that solder thing straightened out.
Well, look at all this. I mean, how am I going to get all this done? I've been off, you know.
Well, I had Jerry filling in over here while you were gone. Now, according to my records, he kept it on schedule. I'm puzzled about how it piled up since you've been back.
It ain't easy getting back in a groove.
Now, you feel it's hard to get back to your old pace again. Harry, I smell something. Like liquor. Is my nose playing tricks on me, or is that what I smell?
Maybe so. I don't smell nothing.
Yeah, sure enough, that's the smell of booze. Liquor.
Just beer.
I'm smelling beer from your breath?
Just one over lunch.
Now, the rules say no alcohol during work hours, and that includes lunch.
I felt like I needed something to pick me up. It ain't been easy going through this thing.
Felt it necessary to have a beer to keep you going?
Yeah, but it's just a temporary thing. I mean, look, I don't drink regular.
Well, it sounds like you feel you need it now, but you won't later on.
Yeah.
Harry, let's talk more about this in private, in my office.
If we have to, okay.
Are you all right, Harry?
Yeah, I just tripped on something.
Your work's piling up. I smelled alcohol on your breath, and now you stumbled into my doorway. Seems like this is all trying to say something. Now, what is it, Harry?
It ain't nothing. All I had was a few beers. Things will straighten out.
I heard you say earlier you had one beer. Now I'm confused.
Like I said before, it was nothing. 2, maybe 3 beers. But I ain't drunk.
Harry, I'm really concerned. First of all, what you might be doing to yourself. Secondly, the work's not getting out. The Carson order's going to go over deadline, and it'll hurt the company and the department. Now, I want to work it out so that we can meet the deadline and get you back to doing your usual good work.
Sorry, Mitch. I didn't realize I was causing that much trouble. Well, it's my in-laws. They've been pushing me. Martha's sister wants to move in. She says I don't take good enough care of Martha. That hurts. Are you going to dock me, Mitch? I mean, for drinking?
Now, the rules call for a 1-day layoff the first time. I have to apply the rule. But under the circumstances, I will suspend the penalty on the condition you seek help. Now, go talk with Mrs. Hathaway, the personnel counselor, about your personal situation. Will you do that?
Yeah, I will. And thanks, Mitch, for your understanding.
Okay. Now, in the meantime, let's talk more about getting this Carson order out.
Okay.
Janice, I want to give you my assessment and comments about your performance since our planning session.
Okay, good.
I especially want to give you some feedback that'll help you in charting your future course.
Good.
Well, to begin, I'm really pleased with the way the fatigue analysis is going. The printouts show that you're not only going to hit your target, but you're going to be ahead of schedule.
I'm really glad to hear that. Those fatigue simulations had to be run under different resiliency assumptions, and I was really pleased the way everything just seemed to fall right into place.
Oh, correction, Jan. The way you made everything fall into place. I'm a real believer that things don't just happen, people make them happen. And it's okay to take credit when things go well. You have to take responsibility when things go wrong.
That's true. But, you know, I think I'm going to have to start calling you Mr. Pygmalion, because it seems like every time I talk to you, I go away feeling a lot better.
Well, to continue the analysis, I'd rate your work on your main area as superior. On your second area, it's a secondary responsibility, but still an important when you work with Kurt. I'm a little worried about that, especially the risk factor that's showing up in the simulations. What do you think?
Well, at first I thought that the program would run well. Kurt and I worked together on the designs, and without any personality clashes. So, to tell you the truth, I didn't spend as much time on that situation as I might have, because I thought it was going well, and because I thought that Kurt would incorporate the configuration he and I had discussed.
So you felt you had a trust relationship going with Kurt?
Yes, and so I didn't follow up as I might have.
Well, I don't see how the lack of follow-up on your part would affect his results.
Because, had I followed up, I would have monitored the computer runs more closely, and I would have spotted the program changes from those agreed upon.
Are you saying that Kurt changed the program after the two of you agreed on a configuration?
Well, I didn't want to say it quite that way, but yes, I'm afraid so. It's the only way that I can explain the results he got.
This is serious, Jan. I'm glad you're being direct about it. Is there anything else I should know?
Well, you'll probably find out when you read Kurt's review if you haven't already.
Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. The topology problem will affect the lateral controls. One of the runs shows a failure rate of 1 in 400. That's terrific if we're producing toy airplanes, but you know it's a disaster in our business. Also, there seems to be a potential machining problem for the fabricators.
Anything else?
No, I think that's all. Isn't that enough? But now listen, Dick, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to blame all of this on Kurt. In fact, I really think that the problem stems from the customer's performance requirements. The specs show a potential vulnerability in that area.
Well, I'm glad you're telling me this, and no, I'm not trying to blame it all on Kurt at this point either. What I'd like to do now is solve your problems. You have any ideas?
Well, I guess I could just bail out now if you'd let me.
No, that's not acceptable. I need you to work with Kurt on this one.
Well, if Kurt won't cooperate with me, what am I supposed to do? I mean, do you expect me to be responsible for Kurt's cooperation, too?
I expect everyone to be responsible for their own actions. That's part of the difficulty around here, figuring out who's responsible and who has the problem.
Okay, I see what you mean, but I don't see how that brings us any closer to solving this problem.
Jan, let's try something. You be Jan, I'll be Kurt. Talk to me the way you'd talk to Kurt about the configuration. Maybe by role-playing this, we can figure out where the trouble started and why. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, you're Jan, I'm Kurt. Talk to me.
Kurt, as you know, I've agreed to work with you on the topology problem. How's it going?
Jan, I'm glad you're working with me on this. Things aren't going as well as they should. Here, take a look at this computer run.
Oh, well, no wonder, Kurt. You've left out at least 2 dimensions, one in the velocity input and another in the stress assumptions.
Well, I thought I factored those in. Maybe I'll reconfigure and rerun it.
Oh, you don't have to do that. I can show you what needs to be done.
Stop the role play right there. If I said to you what you just said to Kurt, how would you feel?
I don't know. Irritated, I guess.
Why?
Well, because I would have wanted to find the error and correct it myself instead of having you do it for me.
And what does that say about your work relationship with Kurt?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So what you're saying then is that my helping Kurt wasn't exactly what he needed at that point, right?
There's nothing wrong with helping out as long as the person wants help. It's when you come to the rescue, when the person can do the job themselves, that you get into trouble.
Right, okay. So what I need to do then is to approach Kurt differently, maybe in a way that respects his capability as an engineer the same way I want to be respected for mine.
Sounds good to me. That'll conclude the session unless you have any questions or comments.
No, but thanks. Talking about this thing with Kurt has really helped, and I think that we can turn this around and get back on target within about a week.
Okay. We'll be talking again from time to time. The next assessment session will be in about 2 months.
You saw in this lesson of evaluating that good supervisors counsel, discipline, and appraise employees so that those employees can excel. Supervision can be the kind of game that you want to play, that you want to be a part of, so it's going to be fun. With this lesson, we've shown you helping by keeping a winning attitude. Try to relate what you read and discuss to your own real experiences at work, in the classroom, on the athletic field, and at home. This has been Supervision Lesson 12, Helping by Keeping a Winning Attitude. I'm Gemmy Allen, and I look forward to guiding you each step of the way as you determine your own philosophy of management.